What's up, guys? We're at the mercy of Mother Nature's lighting today, so I don't know if this is doing anything for you or not, but there you go. Let's get right into the Q&A. So, is there any value in including touch and go and or bounced bench as opposed to just comp style and pause variations in training? Absolutely. Generally speaking, you'll get more volume and bar speed will be better. As far as like complete like bounce reps, Fred Hatfield spoke and wrote a lot about ballistic reps. You can look into that if you want to. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on ballistic reps per se, but there's definitely value to not pausing everything. If you're like a super beginner and you want to get into powerlifting, you need to find that paused groove, if you will, and dial that in 100%. But there's still room for touch and go. A lot of coaches, a lot of lifters, etc., will do like, pause your first rep on a set and then touch and go the rest. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to pause everything. You can pause everything. You can touch and go everything if you're not going to be a power lifter. Obviously, if you're going to be a power lifter, which I assume so, since you're asking, you do need to have some paused work in there for sure, though. Tips for beard hypertrophy: don't shave. Tips on preventing overuse on high-frequency bench programs. Load management. Just to elaborate a little bit, like with high-frequency stuff, you really have to watch your volumes and intensities and keep those in check since you're going to be doing them quite often. Obviously, you can rotate some variations that are very close to bench press in there. Can help prevent that too. But I assume you're speaking on just like bench pressing, period. And that's all going to come down to load management. Should you max out before starting a program if you don't know your max? I mean, if you want to for fun, you can. Really, you can just take an estimated 1 rep max. Whether your training max that you write down and program off of is 10 pounds lighter or 10 pounds heavier isn't going to make too much of a difference. And honestly, I would err on the side of it being lighter anyway. I've lost almost 200 pounds since last October when I began dieting and weight training. Scale says I'm 17% fat still. 6'4", 188. What's my scale counting loose skin as? I have the vascularity and muscle separation. Is it okay to begin a bulk? Just to get down to 10, 12, 14% before I start my cut. Those scales are inaccurate. They're not accurate at all. So I wouldn't believe your scales reading anyway. A lot of those scales, you can step on them like back to back to each other and you'll get different readings. They're not accurate for measuring body fat percentage. There's really not a lot of accurate ways to measure it. If you're vascular and have muscle separation, you can absolutely bulk. You have fucking earned it. Cooking video. I know I owe y'all cooking videos. I really do. I'm being a bad YouTuber, my bad. How important is single leg work in the context of a strength program? I've always felt some perceived benefit from it, and I know guys like Sam Sheethar do as well, but I'm curious your thoughts. I think it's like middle of the road of importance. Of like, if you've got not very important, and you've got super duper important, and then you've got kind of important, but ultimately not 1,000% necessary, it falls in there. There's absolutely benefit from it. I think the biggest benefit from single leg work, or even single joint work, single arm work, etc., is preventing imbalances. Most of us are not symmetrical, just how we're built, just in general, much less after like putting ourselves through various sports that require specialization and things of that nature. We're not completely 100% symmetrical or balanced, and I think when you're always doing like just squats or deadlifts, dual leg or whatever the case may be, those imbalances never get addressed. And you can get good at those movements with your imbalances, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of people that have a gigantic world-class squat that have hip shift, and it might not necessarily look good, but they're fucking elite squatters. But I think single leg work can help mitigate and prevent a lot of those imbalances that come with specialization. I already answered that. I've never done Kroc Rows, so I can't say that I'm a big fan of something I've never done. Have you or any of your clients ever had a problem with tipping forward, not having the bar middle of the foot? If so, how do you solve that? I notice my bar path moves forward as I descend. It isn't necessarily a good morning squat, more like a diagonal descend. Without seeing your actual squat, I'm going to say it's either like a lack of tightness is probably what it is. And what I like to cue is elbows down. So when you've got the bar on your back and you're going to go down for your squat, I cue elbows down. So if your elbows are out here, cue elbows down, and that really tightens your upper back. Assuming your upper back's just not weak as fuck, which that could also be it too, which you've got to address that then, you know, through strengthening your upper back. But elbows down is something I like, and it could be a bracing issue. Again, either you're not bracing properly, or your core is just super weak, and you need to address that through strength. I like weighted planks. Heavy front squat holds can work well for that too, but weighted planks are the GOAT for learning how to brace properly. That would be my two main guesses is, you know, lack of tightness in your upper back or lack of bracing, technical wise, and strength wise. If it's not technique, it's, you know, your upper back's weak or your core's weak. Does loose skin get in the way of normal day-to-day activities? No, it does not. And I think I answered your question on my Instagram about my loose skin. Has Dante defeated the Ender Dragon yet? Have you beaten the Ender Dragon yet?
No.
No?
Not in survival, that is. I've beat him a million times in creative.
Creative don't count? When are you going to beat him in survival?
When I get good at the game.
Get good, scrub. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Peace!